I had received both an engagement ring and a gardening ring, and he told me the wedding would likely take place next spring. I admit, I got a little carried away with excitement. That was my mistake. My parents had gone through a lot of financial hardships because of me, and I wanted to support them emotionally once I got married, no matter what anyone said.
I just want you to treat my parents as if they were your own, and to listen to them as if you were their real daughter. My mother has been taking care of my great-grandmother for years, and I want her to finally have it easier. I want her to be able to travel, buy things she likes. That is why I want you to hand over all your earnings to me. I'll manage them. Don't worry.
Then he added, still speaking with a straight face.
But if we don't have children within 3 years, there's no point in being married. I'll demand compensation money. That's only fair.
To me, this was already impossible. Just as you want to take care of your parents, I expect you to also take care of mine.
Why? You're marrying into my family, aren't you? Once you do, it's like you've left your own home behind. During childbirth, my parents will gladly take care of you.
We had been dating for a year now. He was 33, I was 25. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had wasted this entire year. No, not just a feeling, I had wasted it. If I'm still with him now, every moment from here on out will be wasted too. The people responding to my situation online kept telling me to run away immediately, and reading all those warnings honestly scared me. At our next date, I was planning to throw the ring back at him and tell him not to make a fool of me. But my parents were against the marriage for multiple reasons, partly because he came from a farming family, and partly because, after only a short conversation with him, they already thought something was off. I realize now that I was being stubborn just because they disapproved. Still, his demand to hand over all of my earnings truly infuriated me. I had worked hard to maintain my boundaries for the past year, but now everything felt ridiculous. I decided to cut ties quickly and start looking for someone else. Kinds of hardships. Wanting to make her life easier was admirable for a son, but this? This was beyond unreasonable. If he told people, I asked my girlfriend to take good care of my mother, and she refused to marry me, it would make me look cold-hearted. People might think, she just doesn't want to get along with her mother-in-law. That's why I knew I had to explain everything clearly to my own parents. When I asked my parents directly if they were against the marriage, they said,
"We're not entirely opposed, but we understand how difficult it is to marry into a farming family. It's not something we can recommend lightly. And after hearing what he said to you, we can't support it."
My mother insisted that I take the next day off work and bring him over to talk. That's when I revealed something I hadn't told them yet. My mother didn't have much time left. She was in the hospital, and I wanted to do as much as possible for her while she was still here, even the most difficult tasks. When I told him this, his response was to make it sound like he had the right to demand I care for his great-grandmother as well. I couldn't put the two on the same scale. My mother's care was something deeply personal to me, and his casual attitude towards such responsibilities disappointed me deeply. I decided that tomorrow, I would try to settle everything once and for all. But because I had already accepted the engagement ring, there was a possibility he could claim damages for breaking off the engagement, like it was some sort of marriage scam. Still, I was determined to end it. Life was worth more than any amount of money, and I had already packed up the ring and all the gifts he had given me to send back. For the meals you paid for, I'll send gift certificates. I'm done living according to your demands. I'm not going to be your servant. It was strange. Until that evening, I hadn't even thought about fighting back, but after rereading advice from people online about avoiding marriage into certain farming families, I realized I couldn't ignore what was happening. 2 days later, we were supposed to talk things out, but neither of us could take time off work on short notice, so we planned to meet over the weekend. The day before that, he called me while I was on my way home, saying,
"I'm at our usual meeting spot. Let's talk now."
Remembering the advice not to reveal my home address, I told him to meet me at a family restaurant instead. When he arrived, he was already agitated.
"I don't know why you're so angry. At this point, calling off the wedding is basically fraud. My family already thinks it's happening."
So it's fraud now? You've demanded that I take care of your great-grandmother, that I hand over my entire salary, that I throw away my own family, and that I pay you compensation if I can't have children. Do you even hear yourself? Am I supposed to be your family's servant?
That's what marriage is. Every wife does those things. Honestly, I think I'm being generous.
Generous? Then I'm sure there are plenty of women lining up to marry you. But I'm done. Just hearing your conditions made me lose all feelings for you. I can't picture any future with you. I don't want to see you again. Don't contact me.
This is marriage fraud. I'll take it to court.
Fraud means taking money from someone under false pretenses. I've already returned the ring, the gifts, and anything else you ever gave me. You should receive them tomorrow. I hope you find a woman who actually accepts your terms.
No, it has to be you. If you don't like my conditions, I can make some concessions. Please reconsider.
No. Absolutely not. And by the way, talking about demanding compensation if I can't have children? That's extremely insensitive. You don't even know if the problem might be on your side. I might not even be able to conceive, and to have you bring up penalties before we're even married is beyond insulting. Don't say that to the next woman, you might actually hurt someone deeply. But you know what? Tell people I'm ugly and that you dodged a bullet. That way, the neighbors will think you're the victim. I really don't care anymore. The conversation dragged on for about 2.5 hours, with me repeatedly explaining why his conditions were unacceptable. But he kept insisting that handing over all of my income to him was normal, and that I should even ask him for permission to buy clothes for our child.
My family's wives do that. Honestly, we're still being lenient.
Then what does not lenient look like? You think buying clothes for my own child is a privilege I have to ask you for? Why are you so obsessed with controlling even the smallest things?
You're being ridiculous. You really are stupid sometimes.
At that point, I felt completely drained. I smiled faintly and stood up. That's enough. I'm leaving now. I paid my share of the bill and walked out, leaving him behind. The next morning, I received a message from him.
This weekend, I'll come with my parents. When would be a good time? For our honeymoon, we can go anywhere you want.
It was like he hadn't heard a single word I'd said. From the night before until now, it felt as though I was speaking to a wall. My stomach was in knots, and I couldn't stop vomiting. By today, the package with the ring and gifts I had sent should have already arrived at his place, but I knew that this weekend would be anything but calm. People online were telling me to get legal help, and the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. This wasn't just about breaking off a relationship, it was about protecting myself. Things escalated further when he told me that he wanted to check my capabilities as a woman and asked for details about the past 6 months of my health. I'm not livestock. Stop treating me like some breeding animal. This is a deeply personal matter, and your attitude is disgusting. I wish I could erase the entire past year we spent together. He told me again that he'd be coming with his parents over the weekend and even bragged that he'd looked up my home address. Since I lived in a rural area, I considered informing the local police officer about the situation, especially because I'd heard he respected my father and might take my side. Thinking about the entire past year made me cry. I had dreamed of building a marriage where two people made decisions together, but it was painfully clear that he never had that in mind. That evening, I told my mother,
I'm not going to marry him. I'll find someone who truly values me. You're right. He's no good. Even though he seemed to care about you, there was always something off in the way he spoke. Don't rush into marriage. If you marry trash, it'll ruin your life.
Her words made me cry again. People in farming marriage advice forums had warned me about men like him, saying they often act like perfect gentlemen before marriage to lure in their prey, only to reveal their true selves later. I couldn't blame myself for not noticing sooner, but I knew I had to protect myself from here on out. Friends and strangers alike told me to hire a lawyer, buy a voice recorder, and be ready to file a harassment report if necessary. Up until we broke up, he had never shown any of this arrogant "I'm the boss" attitude. He had been kind, respectful, even gentlemanly. On our early dates, he would open restaurant doors for me, which embarrassed me so much that I jokingly told him to stop because in medieval times, men did that to check for incoming enemy attacks before letting women enter. He laughed but kept doing it anyway. My father was furious when he heard everything. Originally, I had planned to break up without involving him, but after realizing the severity of the situation, I knew I needed all the support I could get. I hadn't officially hired a lawyer yet, just discussed the breakup verbally, but I decided that if any formal notice came, I'd contact one immediately. Some people said I was being naive, but I went ahead and bought a recorder to have evidence ready. One commenter online told me,
"If I were you, I'd definitely get a lawyer. I work at a law firm, and we handle these cases all the time. Many clients say they wish they'd contacted us sooner. Negotiating with a professional early can make a huge difference. Fees vary, but expect around $20,000 to $30,000. If a law office charges a reasonable consultation fee, like for 30 minutes, they're usually decent."
I decided to look into it, but the local consultations in my area only happened once every 2 or 3 months, and without strong confidentiality guarantees. That meant I had to find a proper law office myself. Then, out of nowhere, a message was left on my home answering machine.
"I know there's some trouble going on, but if you come over, we can talk. I'll take good care of you. You can come straight to the house this weekend."
I was almost certain it was his mother. The tone made my skin crawl. Her "I'll take good care of you" sounded more like "I'll own you." In my mind, it wasn't a passenger ship she was offering, it was a slave ship. Friends told me to take a day off work, explain the situation briefly to my boss, and find a lawyer specialized in relationship disputes. Some also suggested asking my boss if the company had a trusted attorney, since many workplaces keep such contacts. In the meantime, I was still receiving unsettling emails from him, but I replied only once. There's nothing left to discuss. No excuses are necessary. After that, I blocked him. Even that small act felt like a victory. When I finally told my boss about everything, he immediately called me.
"I might be able to help. Let's talk tomorrow and figure this out."
That gave me a little hope. For the first time in days, I felt like I had some control over the situation. The next day, my boss introduced me to a lawyer. Honestly, without his help, I would have been lost. The other offices I had contacted either had no openings for days or told me they didn't handle cases like mine. I spent half the day writing down everything that had happened, without emotion, just facts, and faxed it to the lawyer. When we finally met, he said,
"Cases like this have been increasing lately. You didn't exchange formal engagement gifts, correct? And he doesn't want to break up?"
"That's right."
"All right. Have you discussed this situation with anyone besides your boss and your parents?"
"Yes, with one friend, and also online in a few forums."
"Be careful with public forums. Don't write any more details online. You never know what might leak or be used against you."
That same day, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I met him and his parents at a predetermined location. I suggested we go to a nearby traditional restaurant instead of my house, claiming my place was too messy. He hesitated, but agreed. When we entered the private dining room, my lawyer was already there, smiling politely.
"Nice to meet you. I'm here representing her."
The atmosphere instantly shifted.
Why does this have to turn into such a big deal?
Because you're the ones who escalated it. I stayed quiet after that, following my lawyer's silent signal to let him handle the conversation.
"Do you understand why she wants to call off the engagement?"
She's just having cold feet. I don't understand why she's refusing. We were already ready to welcome her into the family.
She went on about how they had told the neighbors, how it would be an embarrassment if the marriage didn't happen. At one point, she even mispronounced bridal blues in a way that made me want to laugh despite the tension. My ex, sitting there, kept insisting.
"If we just talk privately, she'll change her mind. Please let us speak alone."
I felt physically sick at the thought. Even in front of my lawyer, he was trying to appear reasonable, but I knew what would happen if I was alone with him. Even with my lawyer present, I could feel my ex's mother trying to steer the conversation as if the marriage was still a certainty.
If she just comes to live with us, everything will be fine. I don't understand why she's resisting. We'll even set her up comfortably in the house.
My lawyer, keeping his tone calm but firm, cut in.
This is no longer a simple misunderstanding. There's no reason for my client to live in an environment where her clearly stated concerns are being ignored. This discussion is over for today.
He stood up, and I followed his lead. As we were leaving, his mother threw one last remark.
You only graduated high school, right? This is the opportunity of a lifetime. My son went to university, has a stable job, and you'd be set for life. Why can't you appreciate that? Young women these days are so foolish.
I looked her in the eyes and said, "Then please find someone else who meets your expectations. I'm sure there are many women who would. But you don't need a foolish bride like me." My lawyer subtly urged me toward the exit.
Next time, we'll arrange any meeting in a controlled environment where this kind of pressure cannot happen.
After that, I stopped sharing too many details publicly. Eventually, we managed to sever all ties completely. He and his family continued to send messages, sometimes asking to discuss compensation, sometimes acting like they were heartbroken, and other times questioning why I disliked farming life so much. I handed every single recording to my lawyer. Whatever my lawyer did afterward worked, because soon after, I received confirmation that everything was over.
Good job. Now enjoy your freedom. You were about to walk straight into a life of household servitude. That family was on another level of controlling.
I didn't respond much, I was just relieved. Someone later asked me,
So, did he actually accept it? Is it really over?
I told them that my lawyer had contacted me directly.
It's done.
After that, I never received another call or email from him. Whether he truly accepted it or not, I don't know. I imagine there were conversations between him and my lawyer that I wasn't involved in. The truth is, the entire situation had taken such a toll on me that I developed symptoms similar to insomnia and an eating disorder. Over the course of all this, I lost 8 kilograms. It shocked me how quickly stress could wear a person down. Still, I was grateful for the advice I'd received. Without it, I might have gone too far down a road I couldn't turn back from. I told my mother one last time.
I'm going to look for someone who truly values me. That's right. Don't rush. And never settle for someone who will ruin your life.
I cried again, but this time, it was a mix of relief and grief for the year I had lost. The day everything officially ended, I wept like I hadn't in years. My freedom felt real again.
You've been through hell, but you got your life back. Now you can focus on your future.
At work, the news that I was single spread quickly, leading to unwanted advances from some older single colleagues. I decided to endure it quietly for now, knowing that eventually, their interest would fade if I didn't give them attention. From that day forward, I promised myself I would be more cautious. I would trust my instincts, even when they went against someone's charming exterior. In the end, I walked away without marrying into a family that saw me as labor and not a partner. That alone made all the struggle worth it.